Monday, chapter, page 18. Pasuk Yud Gimel, verse 13. The second Aliyah for Monday. Yasis and Mishpatei Zav. So yesterday, if you did the Chumash, we learned about you shall make gold settings. You make an ephod. Ephod is the backwards kind of riding apron. Now, the riding apron backwards has shoulder straps. At the top of those shoulder straps, you shall make gold settings. Rashi says mishpatzos plural, minimum plural is 2. And right now, the Torah only tells you part of their function and the requirements. But when we talk about in verse 25 about the breastplate, we will we'll talk more. We'll finish the details about them. All right, Yud Gimel. You will make 2 pure gold chains at the edge of the breastplate, braided, and then join the braided chains to the settings, the gem settings. Let's see if we get some pictures. All right, so I'll put a picture on the screen. Trying to see what they got. Some good pictures or not. I guess this will have to be sufficient. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to put it on the screen because this is so visual. I think we could do well with the visual. And this is really bad.
Putting on this page.
Yes.
53.
It's a bad picture, though. It's low res. That's annoying.
Oh, you got one in there.
I have one here, it's just not a great one. Yeah, let's see what it is here. That was the best picture I saw. Well, I don't see. Why don't they have more pictures free? All right, let's do my last attempt.
Here's a good picture right here.
They have these like tiny pictures. I can't even.
This
He wants to show the other.
as in.
He wants to show the other people. Okay, Temple Institute. Oh. All right, I guess we're gonna have to just. We'll have to look in the back in the Chayenu page 65 if you want to see pictures.
I like pictures.
All right, so let's go on. You make these gold chains. Migbalis at the edge of the breastplate, tasem, you shall make them. Maaseh avos, you shall make them by a method of braiding threads, not by the method of holes and links that is used to form those chains, which are made for drawing buckets from pits. These are the chains that are made by the method to form chains that are used for incense burners, which are called incensers in Old French. So it's more of a braided gold chain. Interesting. Not the way we look at a typical chain.
How would they use them in incense?
It's like an old France. I don't know.
Oh, it's not for us.
Not for us. It says Shashres. You will put the chains of braids. What are the chains of braids? For the chains of braids that are made by braiding upon these settings. Here, however, is not the place of the commandment to make the chains, or the commandment where to attach them. And the word tasa stated here is not expressing a command, nor is the word of nasata stated here expressing a command, rather an action of future. You will put these chains on these settings. But it's not saying you, it's not telling you go, it's not God's not saying go put these chains on the settings. It's not a command. It's telling you a fact of what they're going to be used for. Because the real place of the command is not here. It's going to be in the section in verse 25, 22, 25, about the breastplate, where then he command, that's really the place about the chains. And he commands on their making and on their set and they're setting them up. It was only written here to let us know part of their purpose of the settings that he commanded in ephod. He's telling you this here, say that these settings, in case you're wondering what do you do with the settings, they're going to be needed. We're going to make the accessory to the breastplate. The chains are really an accessory to the breastplate, not accessory to the ephod. But they're connected to the ephod. So these settings that are on the ephod are going to serve a place for the breastplate chains to be connected to. And you're going to put them on these settings. Tes Vav. You shall make a breastplate of judgment. Yeah. You shall make a breastplate of judgment with interwoven patterns. Let's say that. Amaisa means a breastplate pattern with yeah, right. Okay, I'm sorry. You're gonna make a breastplate woven work. Like the ephod, you're gonna make it, which means with patterns. Gold, turquoise, purple, red wool, and linen that is going to be entwined linen. You shall make tasese, shall make it. So the breastplate is actually made of cloth. Besides the stones, the thing is cloth. So let's see with this term. We say breastplate because we cheat. We have the books, so we know already the term. But if you're learning it for the first time, you're a beginning student of Chumash. It says you're going to make this thing called the Choshen Mishpat. What's the Choshen Mishpat? Mishpat we know is a judgment. So it says, and I guess a Choshen is a breastplate. What does that do with judgment? What does the breastplate have to do? What does this chest plate have to do with judgment? Because its function is to atone for miscarriages of justice. Davar acher. This is Rashi 19, the bottom. Davar acher, another explanation of why it's called a breastplate of judgment. Next page 20. In Old French. It clarifies the truth. Why? Where does it clarify the truth? Because mishpat, judgment, can really mean three things. It can mean the claims of a judgment, of a lawsuit. It It could mean the claims of the litigants. I'm sorry. It can mean the claims of the parties of the lawsuit, one. It can mean the Gemara, it can mean the verdict, but in addition, it can be the punishment. The punishment or the, be it a punishment of death, a punishment of lashes, a punishment of money. Here, it's used in the sense of clarification of the matter. So in other words, it's a little tricky here because it's not as clear. Rashi goes off on like a little dictionary definition thing of the word mishpat. We're trying to understand what does it have to do with the breastplate, right? He says this here means it's the breastplate that clarifies the truth. Because it clarifies its statements. Because it doesn't say it here, but we'll see later, it has the Urim V'Tumim, it has the parchment with God's name in the fold, and that lights up the stones, and then the stones give answers, something like that, to not any answer, not only when the king comes to the Kohen Gadol with a matter of national importance. Yeah, but the king has to be, it can't be anything, it has to be like a big national importance thing. Like, should we go to war or not? Like it's not like, should we make more money for garbage in the garbage pickup in the budget? It's not. I don't think it does that. We don't.
You see the Urim and the Turim, they're inside that breastplate, right?
Yes, in the back, because we're going to see it's folded. It's actually, the square is really a rectangular. Mm-hmm. It's rectangular originally, and then it folds into a square. So there's a fold where it goes in there, I think, according to most.
So how does he see it? Because it's right against his chest.
He doesn't see it. It lights up, I think, the stones.
I think so too.
All 12 of the stones, you mean?
No, some of them, depending on some stones. I think the stones, have all the letters on them. If you go through, they have all the 22 letters of the alphabet, of the Hebrew alphabet. So when they ask a question, it'll answer maybe yes, no, or something like that.
Like a Roku TV or something.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Like
a Ouija board?
Ouija board, yeah.
No.
That's very...
No.
Okay.
Here's the picture from Levine, though.
Thank you. And anyways, just to clarify, this Rashi, if you learned it, it's not so clear. It's a Rashi about the word clear, and it's not so clear. Because which of the three, when you say clarification, it's a term of judgment, as in the sense of clarifying the right thing, Which one of the three parts of a lawsuit is it? So the bottom, I cheated, it says in footnote 50 or 51, it is the first one. It's where the litigants are clarifying their claims. That's the one, the way people in a lawsuit clarify their claims.
Did this actually happen, and is it documented in the Talmud?
I think so. I don't know. I'd imagine.
Can you explain what they're trying to say?
It's in the Torah.
Why is it called Choshe Mishpat?
It's in Nevi'im.
Nevi'im. It's in the prophets. Mike is our prophet scholar, adjunct professor. He's sharing that it's in the prophets. I would imagine it's in the Nach, in the Nevi'im and Ketuvim.
Watch the House of David.
The House of David. Oh, they use it, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's not a good proof. That's not a good proof, actually.
Well, no, I know, but it's fun to watch. Anyway.
Okay, it is fun. All right. Anyways,
what about these courts and what?
The bottom line is, why is it called Choshe Mishpat? One is because it atones for miscarriage of justice, bad judgments. On a different level, it says because it is a breastplate that clarifies matters.
Where do you see the word clarification, though?
Where?
Where's the word? What word, Hebrew word is there in the text for clarification?
In Rashi or in the
Chumash? In the actual Hebrew, in the Chumash.
That's his point. That's the whole point of Rashi. That's the exact point. How do you get from mishpat to clarification? The answer is because every mishpat, every lawsuit, is three parts. clarifying the litigant's stance, verdict, and
What?
punishment. So you see the word mishpat has in it an element of clarification.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it's being used according to the second interpretation of the word choshe mishpat. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kimaise ephod. You make it like the ephod was made. What does it mean? You make it interwoven with interwoven patterns and of 5 kinds of thread. Because by the ephod, it said clearly they're made with interwoven with patterns and with the 5 threads. Okay.
It's interesting. The other thread was 6. This is 5.
What was 6?
The covers for the Mishkan, right? Remember, it
Hmm.
said 6 times 4, 24.
Yeah.
Different.
Do we know what the Urim and Tumim look like?
You don't know what I'm saying?
I think there's an argument. Look it up at Chabad.org. There's
You
different
know what I'm
opinions.
saying, Rabbi?
No,
There's different opinions what it was.
Can we visualize that?
I think we could.
It's the Yale insignia.
The Yale insignia from our Yale alumnus here.
Rabbi, you remember the Mishkan?
Here's another good one.
Yeah,
of the-
now it's like a demerit. You know?
yeah, it is.
This is a picture of it when it's before it's folded over.
Well, that's just that's the best bit. That's not the Urim V'Tumim. Urim V'Tumim would be the
We're inside it. We're inside it. When it's
yeah, exactly.
Parchment went inside.
Yeah, correct.
Rabbi, in the Mishkan, there was 6. One thread had 6.
I don't know. Yeah,
You remember?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I just don't remember.
Okay.
Okay, Tezayin. Revuyi kaful, it shall be doubled over to form a square. Zeres arkav is zeres rachbai, a hand span long and a hand span wide. Zeres arkav is zeres rachbai, a hand span long and a hand span wide. Kaful umutala the far of keneged libai. The hand span long and hand span wide doubled and placed in front of him against his heart. As it says, there shall be in Aaron's heart. How are they held up? Because the shoulder straps of the backwards apron called the ephod went down. And the choshen was hanging on it through the chains and the rings. So we explain the section coming up. Moving along, Yud Zayin. You shall fill in it mounted gems. Arba turim, 4 rows of gems. Tur oidim pitida v'rekas echad. We don't know these. We don't. There's speculation of what these are. These gems, but here they have the Hebrew. Odam pita v'rekas is the first row of 3. If you want to know what they might be, here's some speculation based on some opinions, but not conclusive. Would be the first row be a carnelian, an emerald, and a topaz. And then also the rectangular shaped gems, just so you know.
Carnelian, what's that?
What's a
is?
topaz? I don't know.
Oh, good.
I've heard of it also. I don't know. It's a gem.
Okay.
Yud Ches, Vatura Sheni, the second row. Noifich Saper V'Yalim. It's what are those things? A red garnet, a sapphire, and a diamond. Yud Tes, Vatura Shlishi, the third row. Leshem Shavai V'Achlama, which they translate here. Speculation: a zircon, an agate, and an amethyst.
What color is an amethyst?
I have no idea.
I think it's purple, maybe. Okay.
Okay. Chaf, Vatura Avi. I slept when they did gemology in yeshiva. I slept that. Vatura Hashem, the fourth row of Tarshish V'Shem Yashvei. What is those? An aquamarine, an onyx, and a jasper. Okay. Mushubatzim Tovayu Miluesam. They should be encased in gold when they fill the settings. Rashi Mishubatzim Zaviyu. Encased in gold shall they be. Haturim. The rows of gems. Bimiluesam. When they fill their settings. Rashi, what does it mean, filling? Because the settings surrounded they were surrounded by the golden settings, each of the depth that is filled by the thickness of the gem. So basically, it sounds like it was flat.
What was flat?
The surface of the breastplate seems like it was flat,
Hmm.
or maybe not. Maybe not. I take it back.
Why? Because it was embroidered?
Because embroidered, then you have like gold surrounding, and then you have the gold surrounding covers it goes up to the height of the gem, it sounds like.
Right.
This means in their fulfillment, their fillings, that according to the filling of the thickness of the stones shall be the depth of the settings, not less and not more. The gem shall be inscribed with the names of Israel's sons, all 12 by name. The gem shall be inscribed with the names of Israel's sons, all 12 by name.
12 tribes.
Each one by name shall be engraved with signet ring type engraving. For all 12 tribes. Rashi. Ishal Shmoi, each one by its name. So they have the names of Israel's sons with a signet ring engraving. So what does it mean? Each one by their birth order. That's the way the stones went. Red, Odem, the carnelian was for Reuven, Pittada, the emerald was for Shimon, the Chulu, etc. So you just go by them, you go by birth order, you know who gets which gem.
This garb is so beautiful. The cone dough. Whoa.
What did Pesach David say?
He just popped out how beautiful the garment was.
Wow.
He just shared a little marveling that he just couldn't contain himself.
No, it's like,
Okay.
wow.
You shall make, we're on YouTube. Everything you say is, you're famous. You're like a YouTube star. Okay. You shall make You shall make them for the breastplate, pure gold, braided stays, zavtar, to be joined at its edge. What are stays? Those are cords? Cords, yeah. What?
Yeah, the stay is not the cord. It's
that's what it translates in here.
Pure gold.
Whatever.
To be joined to its edge.
Braided cords, it means. All right, so you're going to put these gems on the breastplate or for the breastplate. What? No. I'm sorry.
No.
You're going to put the cords, the gold cords, on them. It means for them. To join them to its rings, as stated explicitly below in this section, verse 24. Right, because the cords didn't go on the breastplate; they were in the rings that were on the breastplate. Sharshois. This is the term sharshois. So stays, right? That's what they said. Well, cords. Yeah. Right. So where does it come from? It means cords. Why is it called cords? Why are chains or cords called them? Because it comes to the same root word as root, actually. Root. Sharish. Right. The roots of a tree keep the tree firm and affixed to the ground. So that's what they call them stays. The cords weren't just cords, they were to attach. They were affixing cords, in other words. You totally be afraid that in them would be hanging the ephod. And these are the two cords mentioned above in the section regarding the settings. Even though Sharshares, the earlier lexicographer, Menachem and Saruk, he calls it Shroshim. And he says the extra resh, because it's Shar Shirais. And his extra resh is like an extra mem, which you could do. I don't see his words. Sharsheres, I disagree, but rather I see Sharsheres in the biblical Hebrew is like Shalsheles in the Mishnaic Hebrew. Okay. We said Sharsheres before.
Where are they in the picture? Can you tell? Page
The
60 of the stays? I mean, which
it means
things are they?
the chains.
The chains.
The
Okay.
chains.
Okay.
That's it. I think sometimes there's whoever wrote this, but this book never went to print, you should know. This translation, I don't think ever actually got printed, published.
Mm-hmm.
This is from, they try very hard to like Rashi-ize the translation. Sometimes they do it to the point of confusion.
Mm-hmm.
They do 99% pretty good job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gavlos is the same term as before. We said mikbalos. We said earlier that you affix the rings, they should be at the edge of the choshen. Gvul always means a border, an edge, a border, as asamel in Old French. Masa avois, it means braided. Maisa klia. Klia means braided. Okay. Because again, they're not links and chains. They're not links. They're braided. Chav Gimel, you shall make 2 gold rings for the breastplate, and you shall attach the 2 rings to the 2 upper ends of the breastplate. Says Rashi, allocation for the breastplate. It doesn't mean on, it means for. We said earlier, in order that you fix them to it. You make for the breastplate. I can also on. I don't know why. It's possible to say that it means that the outside they are made on it. For if so, why does it say again? You should attach the 2 rings to the upper ends of the breastplate. That's why. If you're saying put 2 rings on it, then why are you saying put 2 rings and put it on again? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So he says the first time wasn't saying on, it was saying for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same. And in Asher Sarat of Sarkan, so too, by the change, you say the same. We say the same thing. Okay, Al Sheikh says at the 2 ends of the breastplate.
Braids or chains, yeah.
To the 2 braided chains, braided cords.
Yeah.
To the 2 corners that are adjacent to the neck. One to the right, one to the left. That are positioned opposite the shoulder straps to the ephod of the back. The rings are actually and if you look in the back, well, not exactly. They would be in the same place as where some of the part of the strap is. All right, Chavdalit. You should put the 2 gold braids. Now he said the 2 gold braids go through the 2 rings. At the ends of the breastplate. So that's what she's saying. Yeah, we had this a little bit before, but now it's like the full data. Hein and Shar, this is the same thing we said before, the braided cords above, and didn't tell you the place of their affixing in the choshen, in the breastplate. Now it's telling you they were inserted into the rings, and telling you now that these. And how do you know they're the same ones before? Because in Parshas Eila Pikudei, where it's not just the commandment, the instructions to make the temple and the stuff in it, but it's actually the making of the garments. It only mentions it once, so it's not 2. It's not times 2. It's 1, which is repeated because of just the way it's going. the two ends of each of the two braids. Titin al shtei mishpatzos, the two ends of the two braids. The two ends of each of the two braids. You shall join to the two settings. You shall put them, attach the settings to the outer side of the shoulder straps facing forward. That's the Rashi. You shall put the two gold braids. We said already. The two braids, the ends of the two braids, the two ends of the two braids of each one shall join to the settings. Rashi, these are the same settings mentioned above, repeating it. Because again, one, it's in the same way repeating it because we mention it when it's relevant as part of the ephod, but it's not fully relevant until you talk with the choshen. So you mention it briefly by the ephod, and then you finalize the details, even at the cost of repetition, by the choshen. Yeah. So these are the same settings, and it didn't tell you their function and their place. Now it's telling you that what do they use for their function? That you'll fix in them the two braids that are attached to the rings of the choshen on the right and left by the neck, the right and left top of the breastplate by the right and left of the neck. The two heads of the two ends of the right chain, they go on the right setting, on the shoulder strap, and of the left, the two heads of the left chain go on the left setting, which means, you see in the picture, they're not. Well, no, they're not. They're not one chain. It's a doubled over chain. Right? The chain goes through the loop, so it's actually doubled.
You see the picture?
As we see in the picture there, it's a loop. It loops through the ring.
Not a single strand.
It's not a single strand. That's my point. Yeah, and they attach at the top by the shoulder strap, as Alan is showing. Let's show that for a moment. See Alan showing. If you see in the picture on the Zoom. Thank you, Alan. Beautiful braids.
Is that why we braid?
Okay, we're done with that. Moving on, Alan.
Is that why we braid?
I do have a question.
Yes, you can put the picture down.
Where do we put I don't see how the head tefillin can touch the head if he's got that white.
We're not up to that yet. We're going to get to that, but it sits by the four-plate head, the four-head plate. We'll talk then.
I think that's how we braid the color because of this. Okay.
Maybe. Nisat, you shall put the settings upon the shoulder straps of the ephod. What does that mean? You put one on the shoulder strap and one on the other. You put the settings on the shoulder straps.
Yeah, it's shown here, right here.
Comes out that the shoulder straps ephod, they hold the choshen that it shouldn't fall, and by them is, and in gravity, that's how it's hanging. And still, we still have one detail not clarified yet. At the bottom of the choshen, it's seemingly just, dangling at this point.
No, it's folded over.
At this point, the picture is already a cheat sheet ahead. So we're talking Rashi where he's explained the verses. At this point, we don't know about the bottom, anything on the bottom. We think it's just dangling. And therefore, it's now going to talk about in the next verse, you put two more rings on the bottom as it continues to say. In the next verse, stay tuned. Now, against its face. So you put the two settings on the shoulder straps against its face of the ephod. The settings don't go on the back, your back, Rather, they go on the front. I'm sorry. They don't go on the inside of the strap. They go on the outside of the strap. That's Mopanav means the face, the surface. Because if it's inside, then it's not the surface. It's not face means surface. Okay. Chavav. And you shall make 2 gold rings and place them at the 2 lower ends of the breastplate. You shall make 2 gold rings and place them at the lower ends of the breastplate. Al swasai on its inner edge, asher lever ephod beisah, facing the ephod. Let's see Rashi. Al shnei ktei on the 2 ends of the breastplate. These are its 2 lower corners, one on the right and one on the left. Al swasai asher lever ephod beisah, on its edge that is towards the ephod inwards. Its edge that is towards the ephod inwards. Let's see. You got 2 signs here. One is that you put them on the 2 ends, the two corners of the bottom, which is connected to ephod. It has to be adjacent to the ephod.
That's like a belt there. I mean, because it goes around the body, and then it connects
kind
to
of.
the back. Yeah.
That when you put them on 2 ends, the lower edge is adjacent to the ephod, for its upper edge is not adjacent to the ephod, since it's near to the neck, and the ephod is placed around the waist. So the bottom means it's going towards the top,
Right.
part of the writing part, the fabric. And it gives another indication that he should not attach them on the side of the breastplate that face outwards, but only on the side that faces inwards, as it says inwards.
They go out in the back fold. Okay.
It is this side that actually faces the ephod. For the priest, would tie the belt of the ephod around himself in a way the apron part was folded to the front of the priest around his waist, covering part of his belly on either side, up to the points corresponding to the lower edge of the breastplate, and thus its edges actually rest on the ephod. A little, they attach the rings a little above the belt of the ephod, such that they are level the rings a little above the belt. I have to see the
Because we
picture.
don't have the measurements here because it depends on the size of the body you're dressing, right? I mean,
I guess.
because
That's a good
that's why
point.
they can't give you the measurements.
Maybe they made a
of the
new one
strap.
every guy. It had to be
Yeah,
certain.
I mean, they had to be custom
tailored.
Yeah.
I would think. So I'm a little bit.
Would have some trouble, Rabbi.
So, okay, that's Chavav Zayin. We'll make a third set of gold rings. We have gold rings top, gold rings bottom. A third set, even a shake his face. You put them on the base of the bottom of the 2 shoulder straps where they hit the fabric and they hit the apron in the back. Lamata mulpanov from below. Mulpanov. On the surface, Lumas Machparte, where they're joined. The 2 outer side of the lower part of the outer side. Yeah, okay. On the lower.
You can see it in the picture on 66. That's it.
Mulpanav, Umas Machbarte. Yeah, I see. Mulpanav, Lumas Machbarte, where next to where they're joined, the straps are joined to the apron. Mimal, because they're sewn on, I believe. Mimal l'cheshefaid, just above the belt of the ephod. Rashi.
It's sewn on, or that's a ring?
I believe the I think the shoulder straps were sewn on.
Oh, the shoulder straps. Yeah.
Sometimes they get to be made of one continuous fabric. Sometimes was sewn. This was sewn on. The point is they're attached. They're sewn on by attaching.
Right.
That seam is where you put on the outer edge of it. You put the ring.
Ah.
Upon the two shoulder straps below.
That's explaining all this in the text. Rashi says that.
Well, no, that's the verse. I'm just now going to do Rashi. I'm probably going to unpack that.
Mhm.
Okay, the settings were given at the upper ends of the shoulder straps, right? Settings are on the top.
Yeah.
By the overalls, Okay. Okay. And the rings, he commanded to put them to the other end of the shoulder straps, not by their settings, way in the bottom where they're attached, where they are sewn on to the apron. That means the ring is adjacent to the seam of where the strap is attached.
Right.
A little higher than the belt. Because the seam was parallel to the belt. Machberes is, I think, is the point of joining. Point of joining.
The notebook from Hebrew school.
Right.
Okay.
What?
Was that the
I
level?
remember Machberes from Hebrew school.
They had that in Reform Hebrew school?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
a,
yeah.
I thought the Reform Hebrew school in Chicago would have been maybe you can learn German or something. Were they teaching you Hebrew?
Well, close, yeah.
Okay. That was
Definitely Ashkenazi.
Ashkenaz, yeah. These were given up. These were placed a little way up where the shoulder straps rise above the belt. That means mamal, a little above the cheshev ha'ephod, a little higher than the belt. They correspond exactly to the bottom edge of the breastplate, and that's where if you have the Kos Chumash, you see it clearly there. You don't see it in the Chayinu so much.
Right.
Page 517. 517 is a good picture. Okay. And then he would then put an aquamarine wool thread through these rings, a turquoise wool thread, and the lower rings, the breastplate as well, and connect them with these threads both at the right and on the left, so that the lower part of the breastplate should not swing back and forth and bang upon the priest's belly, and thus the breastplate would sit firmly upon the robe, the mail. We're approaching 2 more pages. Rash Panov from against his face, meaning on the outer side. Okay. They shall connect the breastplate by its rings. They shall connect the breastplate by its rings to the rings of the ephod.
Aquamarine wool cord.
They shall connect the breastplate by its rings to the rings of the ephod with an aquamarine wool cord. To the whatchamacallit, to the rings of the ephod. Connect the breastplate by its rings.
Yeah, those are the bottom
To the rings of the ephod.
Yeah,
the cord. Yeah, we said that.
Yeah.
To be that it should be lying upon the belt of the ephod, and thus the breastplate will not be dislodged from its place on the ephod. Birksu means joining, as we see the term mountains that are so close to each other that it's not possible to descend to the valley between them except with great difficulty. As a result of their close proximity to each other, the valley between them is precipitous and deep.
Mm-hmm.
Will become a level plain upon which it's easy to walk. Point they're very attached.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's
To be
firm, it's not, it's stable.
attached, joined to the point of stability. Joined here in the function of stability.
Right.
To be on the top of the belt, that they should be, the breastplate should be held closely to the belt of the ephod. Interesting. So it actually was
They call it
resting
belt,
on
those two side straps?
the side strap. The
Those are
side
the
strap.
belt. That's the belt.
That gets tied eventually, and then
Well,
it sounds like
it's tied. Yeah, they have little knots. Yeah. Oh, okay.
the way they put here, though, the breastplate's not actually on the belt.
Well, that's what I mean. Is the belt?
It says here the way it translates, be held closely to the belt of the ephod.
So the belt is the top. There's a strap across.
It's the side straps. It's the apron straps on the side.
Yeah.
Not the shoulder straps.
Right.
Side strap.
But does the apron strap go all the way around, or is it just attached in the front there?
The apron strap goes from the back to the front. The back. That's one. Okay, let's go on.
Okay.
Loizach will not be nituk, detachment. In Arabic, you call it detachment, as Dunash ben Labrot, the other lexicographer who Rashi quotes. One more page. V'nesata el choisha mishpat el surim estatumim. You shall put the urim and tumim in Sa'ah. Alan, dreams do come true.
Yeah.
You put the urim and tumim inside the breastplate of judgment. And they will be on Aaron's heart when he enters before Hashem. And Aaron will carry the judgment of the children of Israel on his heart for Hashem at all times. Rashi. The adjudicator. Let's see Rashi. So Rashi goes with his opinion. It was a right, an inscription of the God's holy name. The 72, the 42 letter name of God.
Where do you see that?
This is in footnote 67.
Yeah, the 42.
Others hold it was the 72 letter name of God.
What is the 42 letter name of God is in that prayer.
I don't know.
Where's this name?
It's the first letters of the prayer. The words of that prayer.
Do the research. Let us know tomorrow.
Where's the name?
On a parchment.
Oh, inside. Okay.
That by which the breastplate makes its now. Remember, the breastplate is a clarifier. What does it clarifies? In the second temple, there was a choshen because you couldn't miss one of the 8 garments, but they did not have that hidden parchment.
The Urim and the Turim were missing?
In the second temple, they did not have that, right? They had the breastplate, they didn't have the parchment. Urim and Tumim.
Parchment, or was it a stone? What was it?
I just told you, it's parchment.
Where does it say parchment? Written on parchment.
Rashi.
That was what. Right. Yeah, but that's not from Rashi. That's what's put in there by Chayenu.
So Chayenu, with everything.
Why should I believe Chayenu?
Ksav means written. Written implies parchment. Engraving would mean a plate or a stone, but it says here it's written. So it means it's written on a parchment.
There's no word written in the Hebrew text, though. There's nothing in it.
Yes, there is.
Where?
Yes, there is.
I don't see it.
Ksav, Shem HaMefarish. Ksav means the writing of the Shem HaMefarish.
I'm looking at verse Lamed. I don't see Chasav. Where is it?
In Rashi. The first 2 words of Rashi.
No, I'm looking at the Torah.
Yeah.
And Chayenu is putting it in for the Rashi.
No, Rashi is saying it. They're just translating Rashi.
No, they're not. They're putting in something that's Chayenu. I disagree.
I'm not sure what we're arguing.
Is not in the Rashi, but the written is in the Rashi.
The Tumim is a very mysterious word. I don't know what it means, nor does anybody. Comes Rashi with the basis of Talmud or Midrash, whatever he's saying, and he tells you, Urim Mitomim, this unusual term, it means it is who? It is Ksav Shem HaVodesh. It is the Ksav, the writing of the Tetra, whatever, the name of God. The writing of the name of God that was placed in between the fold.
Right.
That's what's the writing. Okay, let's move on. As Mishpat Pnei Yisrael, the judgment. I'm sorry, when I was in the middle of Rashi. Second temple, they didn't have the parchment, but they had the breastplate. And the reason it is called, as a matter of fact, Al Shem Oisei Aksav, on account of this inscription or this writing. By the way, it could be there's different opinions of what it was. It sounds like, from the way they're understanding, and it's probably based on Rashi or the super commentaries of Rashi, that Ksav is a writing, implies a parchment. Maybe there's someone that says it was a plate.
You can write on stone. Yeah, the plate could be several things.
When the word being Ksav, writing is usually for ink. Sima, Chassam is etching. So that's probably why they're going with parchment. I don't know.
Because when they talked about the names on the stone,
We talked to their chetume.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're writing it.
But regardless, this, bottom line, Rashi, Urim V'Tumim is the parchment with God's secret name.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what gave it the term of the whole apparatus, this breastplate called the Choshen. Choshen is a breastplate. Why is it called the breastplate of judgment, the breastplate of mishpat? So why? Because of the parchment with God's name on it. Because that's what gave the clarifying, when they asked questions to it of national importance, that's what gave the answer. It wasn't the apparatus, the stones and that breastplate didn't have the power. The God's name inside of it had the mystical power to give the answer.
What bothers me is that God could not personally talk to the high priest. The high priest was not at a level that God could talk to him like he talked to Moses. That's what bothers you. And you have to use these magical things to talk about.
Speaking to God is talking to Moshe is beyond magical. It's miraculous. Like, what is my question? Well, first of all, we know that God can't talk to people typically directly because they blow up, right? No man can see me.
It would overwhelm them. Right. Moses
it would blow their mind, as in they would die. Typically, too much revelation, you don't get to live, says God. So we know you got to do things through mechanisms. So your question is, why is it through this kind of, seemingly magical type of thing?
Yeah.
That's why we're studying Torah to find out.
It's a good question. But God works. Why does God need the Mishkan to begin with? Like, why doesn't he just, make a cloud and they go into a cloud? But for whatever reason, God wanted physical, vessels and tools to be the mechanism.
Amen.
Anyways, as Mishpat Yisrael, the judgment of the children of Israel, they are so called because it's an object through which they are judged and educated whether to do a certain thing or not. Again, so this is how they clarify what to do. According to the Midrash, the Choshen would atone on miscarriage of justice. We said that. It was called Mishpat because it would bring a atonement for bad judgment. It was the breastplate to bring atonement for bad